welcome back once again to Let's Play Sword of the Stars. I'm the Liir. It's 2020. I love this game, even if it never did quite as well as it should have, and even if it has flaws, which we will be getting into together. Oh boy, will we. So let's start off with a nice, simple setup that I've discovered that I liked from previous hard-fought battles. We got ourselves 100 stars. Normally, flat maps are preferable, but that's mainly because it's hard to judge distance and depth across 3 dimensions. We have trouble with it. But you'll notice the spiral, that's really not a problem. Like, it's basically, it's flat on one axis almost, is I guess how I would describe it. It's cool. We're gonna make it nice and simple. If you hear stuff in the background, I apologize, but it is fucking blazing summer. And I gotta have my door open, and I'm very likely to have my fan going. I'll try not to have it on the mic, but the mic quality is so shit you may just not notice anyhow. Group teams, random encounters to 0, because they're just a bother. You've seen them before, I just sit there. Normal mode. I did, in the course of my playing, crank up the size and richness of the planets, which just makes each planet matter more, and it means less of them are bad. And 15 starting technologies and a lot of cash is my sort of normal to get us started. We're just going to be having a 2v2. Okay, there we go. That should work. Nice and creative there. In the past, I subjected myself to setups that I really didn't enjoy, frankly. But I've been playing the game a lot, and I mean a lot, and I mean a lot. So I found something that works for me. And this is just my sort of... like, there's the standard Liir, which is my sort of light blue. And then this is my... I like playing as this one because it's just... my idea lore-wise is that this is the Liir when they just go fucking crazy. Which we love, folks. Something about yellow and white colors together look really nice as a team. Of course, you want to have a friend, a Hiver friend. That's just good practice. So we got our guys styling and profiling here. And I guess I can pick one that doesn't look horrible, but I mean, they're bug people. So, you know, looking horrible is kind of par for the course. Okay, I might close the door. This is what I do for you guys, okay? And I gotta make sure we're on the same team. This is the effort I'm putting through. I'm getting up, I'm closing the door. In half an hour it'll emerge and be way too warm. Okay. Our opponents, this will just be a mirror match, so... I actually know from the positions that I will start in the pocket here, where it's a spiral. This is one end of the spiral, this is the other end. I think, because I want to match us up to where it's Hiver than Liir Hiver. But I'm not sure I can do that. So, you know, I didn't think about what the other Liir would be. I strongly prefer bright colors for teams. I'll just make the other Hiver. There we go. The Hivers, it's tempting to think of them as a hive mind, suitably enough. Actually, they have like princesses that fight all the time, and it's not uncommon to see this sort of stuff going on. There we go. Pick a guy who's, you know, I'm sort of picking things that roughly align with the color scheme, which just makes your brain happy. Now, the only problem is I associate green Hiver with good. So maybe I could have made these the red guys, but it's like, whatever. And finally, the Liir. I'll probably just go with a setup you saw in my previous video announcing I'm alive. It's, because this way... Really, they need to be visually distinct, and it's like, the darker colors, it's not like they're invisible. And you know, when I do it like that, I definitely think, because in games, especially strategy games, you think red is the enemy pretty much. Unless you played a lot of Rebel Alliance in like Star Wars strategy games. Okay, so a very similar setup to the one from the other video, but that's fine because that's what I like to play. Otherwise, these are the same. Team 1, Team 2, total mirror match. Every AI set to normal, everyone gets the same. Let's rock and roll. Alright, here we go, folks. Here we are. Here's our teammate. So it's really not a mystery where the enemy is. I mean, it's really not. Now that I know the AI, that the computer would not generate node lines past here, I'm really glad I picked the Liir. The Liir, you say a lot about them, they're the tech boys. Your job is to tech up, which means a Liir in the pocket is an extremely dangerous opponent. Okay. Because we're not going to be fighting for like 100 turns. So I'm going to be using judicious editing, even if that just means hitting the record button over and over.
We begin the quest for knowledge.
You do that, guys. First tech I research is almost always suspended animation. Let's see what we got here. We have some standard designs which are bad. We don't need that. We will need you. One sad thing, Liir don't have pulsed vision as far as I know. Their form of propulsion, the stutter warp drive, that's not really a thing. Otherwise, there is no reason to make any of the, like, it's not even like your outdated scouts will eventually find the enemy. These ships will never see action against, and there's no random hazards. So, standard command, tanker, even, okay, that's like 3. I don't care that much. I didn't think about a naming scheme before I started either. I'm gonna go with incredibly literal. Small fuel.
We shall remember this design for the future.
Damn right. Wow. It really is just putting recombinant fissionables on, and that's literally it. I'm gonna take off the missile launcher because it does cost money. And we've got to have money.
Yes, Elder. Ship design ready for construction.
Actually, now that I look at it like that, I think... There we go.
We shall remember this design for the future.
There we go, that's kind of a decent idea there. Honestly, exploration, tanker, and then colony ships are literally all we're gonna need. So, I want, first, just as many long range as you can get me. Which is, admittedly, not many.
We begin construction now.
Oh, the Liir is so good at technology research. No reason to particularly rush on this one, considering we're going to be expanding. So it's like, I would rather have lots of money. And of course, our friends of the Hivers up there, they're going to be doing their standard opening. Just build a lot of ships, send them out. Hivers is the other race that I've really picked up on. Honestly, it's funny that I started with so many human series because humans are rushers, and you heard me so stressed.
Turning into the
But like the Hivers are the direct opposite. You literally can't rush as Hivers.
As you command, Elder.
And I really like their gameplay. I like their style, even though I'm bug
We
phobic.
hear your song.
I guess we can all overcome our prejudices. Yeah, I love seeing the lines going away from the planet. It's a brain pleaser. Give me another 5.
We shall weave steel and fire, Elder.
Yeah, I kind of did. You're kind of getting a taste for the Liir already. They're the dolphin people. They're aquatic. They got telepathy. They're a bit eccentric. They're the tech boys. They have relatively few members. They have like 3 members of a destroyer crew or whatever, 3 to 5, because they're like dolphins. Imagine building a ship for dolphins. I mean, it's a little tin can with water. And again, a ship for us is tin can with air. Okay, stutter warp drive. You may notice something else. You may notice that these ships are fucking... Well, actually, they haven't moved anywhere yet. Okay, I don't see any reason to keep going. There we go. Stutter warp drive. They're cool. You can point them anywhere. They're point and click. They slow down as they approach or leave a gravity well. So gravity wells slow down the stutter warp drive to go at 1. That is only twice as fast as the slowest race, the Hivers up there, who are building up for eventually going somewhere. It's a very different prospect to the Humies. I'm gonna crank up there because I really would just like to have it, please. All right.
Yes, Elder. We move as you command.
I think the Liir are cool. Maybe it's an acquired
We
taste.
move between seconds.
They're so poetic about everything. You love it, folks. We love it.
We shall weave steel and fire, Elder.
This is the opening, guys.
System update.
Nice. Spin animation, very nice.
Twisted and turned, but finally we have arrived.
We have expert systems yet. I'm glad we have point defense, God's sake. Okay, we don't have expert systems, so that's next. This is gonna be the game.
The quest for knowledge.
The plan is just research, econ. I'm basically going to alternate between industrial production techs and colonizing techs. We're gonna find worlds and colonize them, and I'll be back when literally anything happens. You know, I'm really digging this, like, pause and take breaks in the middle sort of thing. Like, you may have noticed I'm a little less high-strung than the last time we met, and that's for a lot of reasons. Once you get past a certain point in your life, it's like, you know, no point stressing about it.
We shall remember this design for the future.
There we go. But we got suspended animation, recombinant fissionables. Very nice. Because we have found... Actually, we found nothing yet. It's been like a turn or 2. I really think it's pretty. I think this game is pretty. I straight up think it looks great. On the map, like, I've always found maps to be pleasing. Seeing all the shit... Hivers are great for this too because they don't move very fast. So just seeing us spread our wings out like this is very cool. But, okay. In the previous LPs, literally every moment that I was in the game, the camera would be on me, and so I'm like, oh god, I have to move fast, but I also have to think through every single move, and that contrast fucking killed me. But here, I can pause and just measure things out and be like, okay, what's my move? We're reaching the limits of what we can get to with just an extended range. In fact, this is the last one.
We move between seconds.
So we're going to switch to a new plan. I could just use tanker scout pairs like I've done in the past. That's sort of the lazy way of doing it. The alternative is what they call the scout bomb. It's one tanker and a bunch of scouts and you send them out.
We shall weave steel and fire, Elder.
I think 2 scout bombs should be good, because let's see, 1, 2, 3. Still haven't reached anywhere. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, if I just lazily make like 2 big scout bombs, that should be plenty for this situation. We might get somewhere soon. The Hivers,
System update.
they'll get somewhere eventually. It's a very relaxing opening.
We have broken through the ice, Elder.
Excellent. Very good. We love our econ, folks. There's not a lot of text you can get in Sword of the Stars that are just straight up like have 20% more. I mean, they do exist. But it's interesting how few they are.
We begin the quest for knowledge.
Yep, sure do. So the Stars is a game full of sliders and things you can just gently nudge in one direction or another. Okay. I forgot the fuel guzzling insanity that is the Liir. So actually 2 tankers is a perfectly appropriate amount for all this. Let's see here. I'm just gonna go to one of these sort of in the mids and we'll sort of explode outwards from there. That's the plan.
We have received coordinates.
So I'm gonna be doing that just again. Maybe one more.
The Steel Singers are ready to build.
I'm not ratioing out perfect so there's one ship per...
Update.
I don't care that much. Prohibitive, 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 and prohibitive! What was the climate hazard rating for the Hivers again? Not too close to us, which is good. You don't want a climate hazard that's near your friends. Actually, you want one that's like as far as possible. Which might be a little counterintuitive to want to be different, but it means you don't fight over the same planets, okay? So the first round was a big fat bust. That's fine. I'm not mad. I'm not owned. New wave of explorations, guys. Ooh. Those look like planets we could live on. Smashing. And another we can't. Less so. That's fine, that's fine. Still not mad. Okay. I'm biasing a little bit in my explorations because we want to settle away from your friends, not towards, generally speaking. I mean, yeah, we'll go look.
We hear your song.
Man, is that with tankers having recombinant fusion? Yeah. You know, it's weird. There's always trade-offs in this game, which is why one of the reasons it's great. Humans have such great fuel economy compared to some other races because the trade-off is they're on the node lines, like with the speed, blah, 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 blah. It's a land of contrasts. Okay. It's time to start cranking colony ships. My favorite part of any game.
We shall weave steel and fire, Elder.
More habitable worlds. Very nice. Oh, that one is actually in range.
Turning into the black.
Very nice. Very nice. So we'll be able to send some colony ships here. These are going to be somewhat expensive to colonize, a little bit, all well worth it, certainly. Like, I'm not even looking at like the sizes of the resources, which do look to be quite decent. It is just places to settle, please. We're gonna get drone. 5 turns spent literally just for a 5% increase to the shipbuilding. I tend to just ignore that, like, compared to other things I can do, like move towards cruisers. Not for battle cruisers, but just for the biome colonizers. Biome colonizer fusion will probably be the way to go.
All facilities in order and ready to study this problem.
More crap out here. Wester will eventually be something I could forgive. Till that point, I'm going to mark the survey fleets as guards, just so when I click on a system, It doesn't show me like the scout ships, which do not matter. I'm gonna keep it with these ones though, because I'm gonna colonize and like scuttle. Or just refuel and send them on. I mean, can do that too. I've got ships moving here. Just, it's easy to do that first because it's close. But I also don't need to send too many because it's close. Hang on, hang on. The fact that I named them both small is making the tankers and colonizers look the same to me.
We begin construction now.
Just
System update.
a soothing opening, folks. Painting happy little colonies.
Turning into the black.
Another subprime world. I'll sell you a subprime mortgage on it. And we continue.
Yes, Elder. The vessels will be completed soon.
I think it's really telling. I could play Aurora 4X and never see an alien empire and just have fun expanding my domain and just settling stars and stuff. That's very much my vibe. Also, our friends have reached their first system. They're the Hivers, okay? They're working on it. They'll get there one day. Of course, the first world that our friends explore would be very nice for us. I mean, obviously that's the case. And not so... I mean, well within their tolerances, though. Hivers, very sturdy, very tough. We found a nice world, too. Pick at every world when you scout. That's a big one that I have picked up. The enemy doesn't tend to come down at first. The AI very heavily emphasizes moving along the spiral, which makes sense. But, you know, I have had it happen like once or twice. But only once or twice, ever. So you are mostly okay in these situations. Let's see, I can dispatch a
System
now.
update.
I want cactus. Never fixed the bug with the Japanese characters just sort of appearing, because the game is using some. It's doing a thing. I know what it's doing. I shall watch ye. Why not? I'll send them all. Why not get a good world up faster?
Yes, Elder. I've twisted and turned, but finally we have arrived.
Nice. It's pretty wild that, I don't know, tech feels a lot different when you're human. I mean, all the races, they do a really good job differentiating. Very nice.
All facilities in order and ready to study this problem.
Thing for me about biocolonizers, it's not even, well, it is kind of that they're better. It's, I have to build less waves of endless destroyer colonizers. And that's very nice. And refineries come naturally. Like, you don't even have to research refineries, so we're golden. Of course, you know, engines would be good too, but we'll work on... Actually, hang on. Do I have first colonizing tech? No, I never got that. I think because I'm about to actually start colonizing.
We begin the quest for knowledge.
Yep. First world going down.
A new sea to explore, Elder.
Yes. That's the idea.
The Steel Singers are ready to build.
Let's get that colony down, boys.
System updates.
Ah, yeah. A new ocean awaits. Hey guys, guess who muted their fucking microphone for the whole rest of the recording session? This guy.
Begin the quest for knowledge.
10 years and I still don't have the knowledge to keep my microphone on, or at least check. When I was recording videos regularly, I would paranoidly like just hit it over again, like boop, 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 mute off, mute off, mute off, because it makes a noise in my headset when I do that. I'm just out of the habit. Like I said before, I couldn't even find the key I had bound Fraps to record to. We love it, folks. So the rest of it is post-commentary. Never really done this before. That's fine. Maybe it's a new style. Maybe I will be able to consider my words more carefully, because I won't actually have to worry about, you know, just playing at the same time, although you guys will discover, no, my mental capacity is just that regardless. So we're continuing on our expansion efforts. This is actually, the reason this happened is I went to lunch and came back, and because I'm recording this in bits. I have to say, I'm really enjoying this new style where I cut things instead of just... Okay, editing is a lot of work, guys. This setup I have here has always been a seriously guerrilla operation, a hobbyist thing. I used to make a tiny bit of money off the ad revenue. That is many years past. So all I have now is the wild gesturing of my cursor trying to figure out what I'm actually talking about. As we see here, I wanted to get to biome colonizers fast because I don't want to spam colony ships, and you do have to kind of spam colony ships. This early expansion, I mean, the goal is just to reach out to every world. You can see we have fleets en route to both of those worlds to the left and right of the homeworld, to a lot of them, and just colonize all the nearby things, get it down. It's often said you should be spending up to like half to 2/3 of your budget in the early game on colonization, which I think is pretty aggressive, but it's growth. It's booming. Actually, in general, I found a boom strategy to be really one of the only ways to play Sword of the Stars, at least for many races. Like, if you're playing Zul, you need your own special playbook. But when it comes to this, I mean, it's why I chose this setup. It's obvious. It means I get to be in the pocket, which means I get to set up. And we have hivers between us and the enemy, so they're not getting through. Really, if you think about it, from what I've experienced in the game, hivers are the best at defense. Liir are the best at offense when they get going, really. I mean, you can make a case, you know, humans are fast, they can strike quickly, but Liir get pretty fast too, which we are going to demonstrate with the higher tech engines.
Yes, Elder. The vessels will be completed soon.
So, alright, let's roll on, and we'll be back shortly. Just want to point out that the hivers are the slowest race in the game, and we have the same number of colonies as them. We love it. Oh, I wanted to show you guys a really funny trick that I discovered, but sadly we don't have contact with the other aliens yet, just our buddies. Now, you can do it with your buddies, and I might do that at some point, but I think I'm gonna keep it a surprise for when we meet the aliens, because I think you're really gonna like... It's kind of fucking absurd, so I think you'll like it. I'm really happy that you guys want to watch me play Sword of the Stars. And I got other strategy games. I got Galactic Civilizations 2. I was thinking of going for that.
System updates.
Sins of a Solar Empire, like...
We have made a breakthrough,
Oh, nice.
Elder.
Many of the things I want to return to are old games. There is new stuff that I think is cool. I got Persona 4 the Golden.
This venture could take us far, Elder.
That would be big. Big. And there's so many other people you could watch play that. And should. I've actually gotten big into Duskers lately, which no one knew about to begin with, and that's a hard game to record because it has it has visual noise filters. It's like rain or snow on the YouTube algorithm. It does not like it. All we're doing here, folks, is just expanding. The reason why I'm doing such frequent cuts where it can feel like I'm just bam, bam, bam is just, you see, send a scout to every world, leave one scout there so that you can monitor. This is not as important when you're in the pocket because, like, the enemy's not coming down here. Not soon, anyhow. Like, I mean, they don't have the range, they don't have the programming. They're not just gonna go down. Well, the hivers are a little curious. The hivers like to go everywhere, but no. They're gonna expand to their local area first, just like what we're doing. We're not going up there to bother them yet. We've got some new nice worlds. Scout out worlds, settle every world, get the colonization tax, which as you can see we're going for
System update.
I believe that may be gravitational adaptation, or... No, it's one of the earlier... It's a colonization tree, because as you can see, the light blue square in our...
We hear your
The light blue
song.
square in our budget is colonization expenses. So you want the light blue square
We have received
to be at least
coordinates.
half. As you can see, that's the scout bomb. I referred to the scout bomb technique earlier. One tanker, a lot of scouts. And then when you get to about the edge of the tanker's range, you basically jettison the tanker like it was a spare rocket booster in Kerbal Space Program. This game is pretty. I remember specifically I was talking about how this game is pretty during this section because it is. It's not graphically. It's not like a workhorse, but it's like Homeworld. In a lot of ways, it's like Homeworld. It's like a strategy game Homeworld with.
Yes, Elder. We move as you command.
I guess the way I would put it most succinctly is, it actually reminds me of Total War, where it has the turn-based strategy, and then the real-time combat, which I have grown to love as a format because it gives you the time to consider.
System update.
You really think about your choices, and it's like, is this the best idea? You can see here explaining the budget and just a lot of it on upkeep and colonial maintenance because we've got a bunch of worlds now. And just everyone, dispatch a fleet to everyone. It's a real simple plan. There won't be any combat in this video, and probably not the next one either, because the first one has covered our expansion. The second one will cover, teching up, which as the Liir you can do, you can just... A Liir in the pocket is the most frightening thing in this game because they can develop so fast. They can be on you for, with antimatter, all sorts of fun energy weapons. I've had a chance to do, as you saw, so many full games where I just explored and I played with it. Ah, yes, here I'm explaining, and you can actually see from the movement of my cursor, I'm actually a little conflicted about taking some of these worlds and settling past this point, even though, look at all those lush blue oceans.
A new sea to explore.
Because I don't want to outsettle my partner, and they're a little different than us, but the Hivers have a very high climate tolerance. They can deal with a lot of their bugs. They're fine. So they can colonize a lot of worlds, which is a counterbalance for the fact that they move so fucking slow. Just like Tarka colonies grow faster because their ships move. Their ships are the slowest to start with at just 2 light years a turn. Liir move theoretically at 3, but that's almost always a lie because you're always going to or coming from a planet, which means you're always getting fucked by the gravity, which is why you'll see Liir ships barely move when they're near planets, and they get so close. There's it's a big disadvantage to working that way, but conversely, you're really fast in open space. So if you'll note above us, yeah, we're going there one day. And you're a real speed demon. In open space, the Liir flicker warp, I believe, is the final stutter. I believe it's antimatter flicker drive is the tier 3 engine, tier 3 power tech. You can get up to 13 light years a turn. Humans only go up to like 15 on the nodes. So when you count having to weave between the nodes and being at the mercy of the game's generated pathways, like, it's my contention that at the end of the game, Liir and humans are about as fast. Which leaves us to look at every other metric. Oh, and humanity does not come out good in that comparison. Hivers, though, I mean, they eventually get Farcasters, and they're gonna fucking... All I can do right now is talk about the future, because right now, the plan is simple. Expand through our arm, let our allies expand, tech up, get fleets of, like, endgame Doom ships as, like, my first combat vessels, if possible. And then we go up and we get them. Now, of course, in execution, things might not turn out so smooth. Things might not be so shiny, but this is my initial plan. And I have high hopes.